Shukla reports the release of funds will be based on numerous conditions set by the IMF.
The $3 billion loan from IMF will certainly not push Sri Lankan economy out of the woods, but it will give a fillip to the economic activity that was stalled over the last year. First being bringing Sri Lanka back on the loan market. Remember last year when Sri Lanka defaulted on its loan repayment, it was declared bankrupt and it could not raise fresh funds. But now with the IMF deal, more avenues will open up and Sri Lanka can go ahead and borrow fresh funds from other multilateral organizations like the World Bank or the ADB. And all the government projects that were running with this supply of money from multilateral organizations will also come back on steam. Add to that, with better foreign reserves and better reserves, the government will be able to import essentials, and some of the import restrictions that it had put would also be slowly eased out, which means shortages on the ground would be eased in the coming months, and that will also help bring prices of essentials down to a bit. Inflation is the biggest challenge that the country has to deal with. It's at 53% even today. So bringing that down to about 12 to 18% by the end of this year is a target that IMF has put. Two other key targets that the government has to work on, one being tough debt negotiations with its private as well as bilateral lenders, whether it's a write-off on the loans or a postponement on the interest payments is what they will have to discuss, and which is where discussions with China will be key to watch out for. Restructuring of some of the large public sector enterprises, privatization of some of the public units is also on the cards to boost revenues for the government, which will be the key going forward and a key condition that IMF will watch out for. Not to miss, the biggest being keeping an eye on corruption and building policies to deal with corruption, because remember, economic mismanagement, corruption was one of the reasons why Sri Lanka is in the position that it is in today, and this is something that both IMF and the citizens of this country will look forward to.